And welcome back. My next guest is Grady Anderson, U.S. Army veteran and Buffalo soldier. Welcome, Grady.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us for our veterans segment. And as viewers of this program know, I've been town supervisor now my 5th year. And we started this program, Hometown Happenings. My first year as town supervisor, we have over 50 shows that we've done. And out of those 50 shows, I thought it was important for us to bring a veteran on. So on each show, we have a veteran that we bring on, and we want to introduce that veteran to the community, talk a little bit about their service, as well as their involvement within the community as well. So I really want to thank you because you've got a long record of involvement with a lot of veterans organizations and in our community, and you've got a distinguished record of service as well, with the Army. So welcome to the program, and thank you for agreeing to tell us a little bit about your story.
Fine.
So let's start off from the beginning. Your background. Where were you born and raised?
Well, I was born in a little town called Ahoskie, North Carolina, and we moved up here. My mother passed away, and we moved up here. I was 7 months old. We moved up here. That was the big migration of a lot of the blacks from the South, looking for a better way of life and whatnot. My father was a tailor and a presser, so we lived in Manhattan.
Okay.
And around Manhattan and the Bronx in that area. And then we came up here in 1949.
Oh, wow.
This was no Tappan Zee Bridge,
Yeah.
strictly country. Milkman would bring the milk in and put it in your refrigerator, so
Wow.
this is the good old days.
How many kids in your family? Was it just you, or?
When we moved up here, it was just me. My father my mother had passed away.
Sure. Okay.
My father had another couple of marriages, so
Okay.
there's a bunch of boys.
Okay.
State troopers, detective in Spring Valley, and so there's a bunch of us.
Oh, good. And so you moved up here in '49. Tell me a little bit, like, what do you remember from your early? So you were living up here in the 1950s before the Tappan Zee Bridge, and you mentioned the milkman bringing the milk. What was it like there's a lot of people that can watch this that weren't here in the 1950s.
Yeah.
What was Rockland County like in the 1950s?
It was really nice. I lived in Nanuet, and there used to be a place called the White Birch Inn. They had a hotel. They changed it into apartments, so we lived there. And it was a horseshoe. A guy by the name of Eddie Gales, he owned the club, and he owned that property. So when the school bus would stop, the blacks would take up that whole bus. There was no integration, but we just had the whole bus because we all lived in that area. But it was nice. It was a friendly community. You didn't have to worry about your kid going out and not coming back. It was safe.
Right.
It was safe.
Where did you go to school?
I went to school originally. I went to school in Nanuet, the grammar school up on top of the hill. I think it was District Number 8. They called it.
Yeah.
I went there, and then I think
for those that are watching, that's now the Highview Elementary School.
Correct.
Up on the hill with that wonderful playground that we helped rebuild a number of years ago. But
right.
The District 8, they would call it at the time.
Yeah. And so when I left in 53, 54. We moved south for 1 year. And that was the year that the Emmett Till incident.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't leave the house because I was a city boy, And so we moved back. We came back to Rockland County, and I went to school in Nyack for about 6 months, and then back into Spring Valley.
Okay.
And I was the second year in the Spring Valley Senior High School.
Okay.
And by the way, back in those days, East Ramapo was #1 school district in the state.
Yeah.
So
it was an exceptional district.
Definitely.
I had cousins that graduated from East Ramapo back in the 70s and 80s, and it was the top district in Rockland at the time.
True. Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. So it was a great community.
Right. So you graduated from Spring Valley High School then?
No. It's funny. They had a thing called 90-day wonder, and I had time to graduate high school, but I flunked out a major subject. But I had to go in, so I finished school in the service.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes, I finished the school in the service. While I was in the service, I was a mechanic. Okay.
So before we get there, so let's talk about. So you decided to go into the military.
Correct.
Right. So 1959, roughly?
1959, yeah,
Right.
July 59.
July
Right.
of 59. So July 59, and then you finished up getting your high school diploma through the military.
Through the military, yeah.
As you
But in
went in.
59, I went to Fort Dix. That's where I took my
Yeah.
basic training. Thank you coming to that. Took my basic training in Fort Dix,
Mhm.
and I stayed there. I was scheduled to go to Korea. I don't know why they deleted my orders, but I wound up in Kissingen, Germany, 3rd Infantry Division, 10th Combat Engineers.
Wow. That must have been a fascinating time, because that was like, pre the Berlin Wall, but a lot of tension going on, right?
Right, of course, yeah, because John Kennedy came over,
Mhm.
and I can't remember forgot most of my German, Ich nix something Berliner.
Yeah.
But so I was there when the wall went up, and I'm just fast forwarding. I think it was 87. The wall came down. Anyway, I'm running around the house, jumping up and down, and my kids didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And then my wife, she said, "Sit them down and tell them why," because I was there in the beginning. I was there at the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were actually in Germany when they were constructing the wall in
Oh yeah.
61.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
What was so? Let's finish up with. So you did your basic. So that was just basic. So for the benefit of our residents watching this, how long was basic training typically?
Basic training was 8 weeks.
And that was, they give you the basics, the rudiments of being a soldier.
Oh yeah, it was kind of rough, 60-pound backpack, walking 4 or 5 miles,
Right.
and then I think the most scary part was on the rifle range, You actually had every 5th round, you were doing what they call a night crawl, and every 5th round would glow,
Wow.
so you didn't dare stick your head up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so some intense training, and then you're finished with that. You probably, I guess they probably let you go home for a little bit, like a quick leave.
Yeah,
and
I did. Once I got my orders, I went home and had to come back. That was a little short weekend.
Mhm.
But then when I got my orders to go overseas, then I had a month
Mhm.
at home.
What was that like? I mean, that must have been really neat. You're out of school now. You're in the military. You're going to be doing that at least the next several years in the military. What was your family like? What was their reaction with that, and your friends?
My father was very proud of me. We've had history of military in our family, so and I wanted to go. I wanted to serve my country. So I think everybody was proud of me. I was a little worried because my wife, who is here now, we were dating, and I was hoping she was going to wait for me, and which she did.
Uh-huh.
And in April will be 55 years of marriage, so
Oh, God bless.
that turned out great.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So she did wait.
She waited.
She waited a long time. You're still waiting sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so you get assigned to Germany, and you were actually there for the start of the Berlin Wall.
Yes.
So, did you think that was going to be permanent when you were there?
I'll tell you, we had a thing called Operation X-Ray. We go up by the Czech border, and I remember, at one of the troop information classes, and they say, somebody asked what was our expected time of delivery of our expected life expanse if war broke out. And they told us, well, about a minute and 30 seconds. But our job was to detain the enemy, and I'm saying for a minute and 30 seconds.
Wow. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so it was some scary times over there. But, you make some comradeships that last forever. I still have a friend that I call when they had the thing. He lives in Nashville, so he's okay. But we stayed in contact all these years.
Oh, wow. Was he assigned? He was assigned with you as well?
We were in the same barracks. And the ironic thing, when you're talking about back in the 50s, we became friends. He was really, he was a Southern boy,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And we just hooked on. We started out kind of rough, but we hooked on. And we became, he's like a brother.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's really wonderful.
Yeah. I made some lasting friendships. That one is special. Yeah.
How long were you in Germany for?
I was over there for almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And so you were there as the wall was starting. So really you're describing the emotion, I guess 1989.
Yeah, 89. Thank you.
Right after, I guess, Reagan got out of office, Bush was in his first year of office, and the wall came down, I guess. But yeah, so I mean, really incredible. The wall, I guess, started in 60 or 61.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Any other experiences from your time in Germany that jump out at you? Or?
Well, I got a chance, when we took the leaves, I got a chance to travel a little bit. And I went to Amsterdam. There's another story behind that, but the good part was, because of a lot of college kids. So the University of Leiden, so I hooked up with some made some friends there. So I spent my vacations, I would go to Germany. Amsterdam.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
So you got to see a bit of.
But I got to see a bit of, and the churches. That was a thing with me. I've always put God first in my life. I was raised that way. But I got pictures of churches all over Germany. Beautiful architecture.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, some absolutely stunning churches over there. You're absolutely right. A lot didn't survive the war, but many did. Like the cathedral in Cologne. Some of these, some of these churches going back to the 12th century or earlier. Absolutely stunning architecture there. So after Germany, were you discharged from there, or did you come back to the States?
No, I came back to the States, and it was funny because we get back to the States. Coming back to the States, we came back during the Bay of Pigs, so we were delayed, and they said we were going to war. That was just a story going around the ship. Yeah. But anyway, we found out after we got back what was going on, with Cuba and all this. But that was it. I got back late, so my wife and her mother came down to meet me, and I didn't come in that day, so they came in the next day.
Right.
So.
And then ultimately you're discharged from the Army. What'd you do after you were discharged?
After I was discharged, I decided to use my GI Bill. All these years of being a mechanic, I went to vocational auto mechanic school up in Suffering. I got home, all my friends had these. My wife was going to be a nurse, and a lot of my friends were teachers. And I said, I think I'll do something else. So I wound up going to school for X-ray, and it was a good career, career. And that's how I got into Westchester Community College. When you first started in X-ray, the only thing we had, you took a registry exam. So, I passed that, and then when the opportunity came, Westchester Community College started a program for practicing techs. And it was only 12 of us signed up, but they kept the program going. So I went to, and I got so many credits for my experience. So I got my associate's degree there. And it helped me move up into, finish my career at Helen Hayes Hospital. I was radiology manager there, so it was a good career. It was a good career. Yeah.
Great. Now, Grady, you've been very involved with the Buffalo Soldiers. Maybe you could tell and a lot of different veterans groups as well.
If you don't mind, could I go through
Yeah.
my American Legion experience and work up to that?
Sure,
because the Buffalo Soldiers was the honorary program, and I'll get to that.
Sure.
But I just got my 50 years last year in the American Legion.
Oh, congratulations.
And,
thank you for that. Thank you.
And I was Post 199, the Moscarella Post 199. We call it mozzarella.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, Anthony Moscarella, he's built at St. Anthony's. That's the one in Nanuet.
Yeah.
One of the things I did when I became commander is researched and found him. And so we lay a wreath there every year. So from there, I became district. We had a 4th district in the county. I never served as county commander, but I was one of the district commanders, Northern District, which was Hillsborough and Suffern. And it was funny, through a gentleman there, he sent me up to West Point because he would go up every year, and they had the Buffalo Soldier ceremony. And I really didn't know that much about the Buffalo Soldiers. There was no such thing in black history when I went to school. I learned most of my history from my kids when they were in school. But that was the first thought of my Buffalo Soldier. Then from the American Legion, I became chef de garde of the 48. Are you familiar with the 48? Yeah. Okay, so I became the first black chef de garde in Rockland County. And so these things were honored, but I think the most significant thing in my life was with the Legion. I became oratorical chairman. And we had a young lady by the name of Benna Shaw under my tutelage. She became the first and only, how can I put this? She made it to the national.
Wow.
And, so the first one in our district. So that was one of my pride things. The years, and I had a lot of kids to go through the program.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was most of one of the proudest moments.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, of 199, they sold the building, and they're still in existence.
Right.
But that money they put away, and even today we still give about $3,000 every year to East Ramapo School District.
Wow.
Scholarship.
That's really absolutely commendable.
Yeah.
So I know the American Legion, 50 years. That's an incredible
Yeah.
amount of time to give back to the community. Thank you for that
Thank you.
service.
Yeah.
You're also you did some lobbying with the county legislature as well. So I think we were talking off camera earlier. So February 12th now is forever will be Buffalo Soldier Day in Rockland County.
Yeah, Rockland County Buffalo Soldiers.
Right. Okay.
Let me, if I may, now, in 1993, Jerry Dinellen, a lot of people still remember Jerry, was one of my best friends, but Jerry Dinellen and the first county exec, John Grant,
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to do something for black veterans who had given back to Rockland County. And that's how it started. And then I got the award in 96.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry says, Grady, I don't know the guys. So what I want you to do is I want the Buffalo Soldiers, there's a few of you now, I want you taking over and finding a gentleman who qualifies. The qualifications, naturally, you have to be a black veteran,
Right.
and what have you done for Rockland County. So that's how I got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we decided, it was a gentleman, Wilbur Folks, that name may ring a bell. He just passed away.
Yeah.
So we started the Buffalo Soldier Awardees. And I designed a jacket. I should have wore it today. I designed a jacket, and now we just had our 35th award in February.
Wow.
So we're going to try to have it every February 12th
Mm-hmm.
from now on, and it's usually at the Fire Training Center.
Right.
And I usually give a little history of the Buffalo Soldiers, and that's about it. But
Yeah.
a lot of my give back has been through oratorical. We used to go up to the old health complex. That a lot of people didn't realize there were several veterans up there, and every year we would, Christmas we would go up and share time with them, and even during the year too.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to the end of time here. So what I'd like to kind of finish up with is, I see that you're wearing a cross on your jacket. You talked about your relationship with God. So I assume you're involved in some churches as well, right?
Yes, I've been. Let's have it on here.
Yeah.
I've been a member of my church for over 60 years.
Well, which church is that?
First Baptist Church in Spring Valley.
Okay.
Reverend Williams, Dr.
Yeah.
Williams, Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He's been there 45 years. I remember when he first came, he was
Yeah.
pumping me for information, because I've been there for a while. And we had the first wedding. My wedding was the first wedding in that building.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So anyway. So I became ordained in, I think it's 2006.
Oh wow.
And that was another happy day in my life. I was so sad that my grandmothers couldn't have been there, because that's the way they had raised me.
Mhm.
And I did kind of get off on the wrong road for a little while, but then I came back in, found that heaven's highway,
Yeah. 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 God writes straight with crooked paths.
There
Right?
you go. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, he writes straight with crooked
Yeah,
paths.
yeah.
But well, you've had a really rich career and a rich life, and you've given back, so much. I want to thank you for your service to our country.
Mm.
I want to thank you for your service to our county, and I want to thank you for your service to God, as well. I mean, it's that's an incredible legacy to leave, that you're leaving behind. How many? Tell us a little bit about your family. So your wife, you're married 55 years.
Yes.
How many kids do you have?
We have two.
Two.
One's a teacher in New York City, and one's getting ready to start teaching now over in Westchester County.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, grandkids now too, or?
I got one grandchild.
Uh-huh.
I was in my 60s, and I threatened my kids that if somebody don't give me a grandchild, me and your mother going to have one. And I've always had pugs. You know what the pug looks like.
Yeah.
So my son says, no, if your mom have a kid, it's going to look like Caleb,
Like the pug.
Yeah. So in about a year, he gave me my granddaughter. That's my heart.
Yeah, you're pride
Other than my wife, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. So again, Grady, thank you so much for willing to share your story, with the residents of Clarkstown.
Yeah.
Thank you for, as I said, your service to our country,
Yeah.
service to Rockland, and service to your church and the larger
Yeah.
community.
And if I may, I want to thank you. I really enjoy your telephone, and I think you're doing a wonderful job. And I'm glad you changed your mind.
Yeah. No,
It's power in prayer.
Yeah. I was really taken aback by I got over 100 emails from people, text messages, and it was always, they'd always kind of be the same thing. It's like, well, I want to congratulate you, but, why don't you stay here? So, we have plans here in Clarkstown. We got a lot yet to do.
Yeah,
So I'm looking forward to being here
That's good.
for whatever time that I have left as supervisor. I'm term limited. I can be here another 4 years. So that's hope to continue on and do what we need to do to finish up.
Well, I plan on living to be 100, so I hope I'm 79. So I hope you're still here.
I hope so too. I hope so. I hope
God
so too. God bless. So again, Grady, thank you so much. So folks, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.